I mean, the smallest things are some of the things that can make the biggest differences. At the end of the day, if you do the same thing as everybody else, you can only expect the same results as everybody else. So you have to be able to differentiate yourself and really think about, especially anywhere in life, but particularly in jiu-jitsu, it's the small details that people miss, the subtle things that if you were watching from a third-party perspective, you may not notice. But when someone shows it to you, you're like, oh my God, you've been doing this the whole time, but I've never really noticed it. And so, you have to go further than what normal people are doing, and you have to go beyond that and transcend, general patterns you see, and really the smallest things can sometimes make the biggest differences.
What are your thoughts about this? How important has that been in your success in life, in martial arts, or anything that you've been good at or great at?
Yeah, it makes a lot of difference. Yesterday was great for me. I learned so much, a lot of little details, a lot of little mistakes that I made, and then I look like little figures and say, wow. And make you feel like, wow, that's it. But I think every little detail matters, in a high level, whenever everything that we do on the highest level is little things that make a difference, a better decision, small details make a lot of difference.
I really stress to you folks that if you're not willing to do things that other people are not willing to do, that you just have average outcomes. And Gordon touched on this. If you just do average people shit, it's really absurd to expect to have above average outcomes. If you do what everyone else does, expect to have an average outcome. And if you're okay with that, I don't know why you would be here. I hope you're not okay with that. I hope you feel nauseated at the idea that you might have an average outcome in life. But that's the reasonable expectation that's what's going to happen. So if you want to have exceptional outcomes, you're going to have to engage in exceptional behaviors, and you're going to have to understand things that other people are too stupid to understand, and you're going to have to do things that other people are too lazy to do. And I don't believe you have any significant success without both of those factors. You have to, if you don't have the innate knowledge yourself, you have to learn it from somebody, and you're doing that. But for those of you they're doing 100% of the homework, actually doing all of the homework, your outcomes are not going to be like, twice as good as a person who does half the homework. The person that does half the homework is not going to have the confidence to make any significant investment because they're half-assing everything in their life. And they're not going to, if they accidentally saw a good opportunity, they wouldn't have the confidence to execute and take advantage of the opportunity because they haven't done the right work to be like, oh, yeah, this is what it looks like. That's what I'm supposed to do right now. The person that does all of the work, versus 80%, it's not like the person who did 80% is going to have 80% of the outcome. And I used to say just kind of loosely, like, if you did, made an 80% effort, you don't get 80% of the outcome as the person who made a true 100% effort. I used to say kind of loosely, like you'd be lucky to get a 30% of the outcome. And I really sat and thought about the math in terms of business or economics. And it's much more dramatic than that. But like a person that made, a true commitment to excellence in the area of finance and spent a lot of time and a lot of attention to detail, many people out there can make 10 million a year. Many people can make 10 million, all right? A person who's making an 80% effort would be lucky to get 300 grand. So that's a difference. That's like 3%. You could have 3%. You're not going to have 30%. You're not going to have 50%. You're going to have nowhere close to 80% of the guy that makes an 80% effort doesn't get 8 million, and the other guy got 10 million. It's like, no shithead. You'd be lucky to get 3%. You'd be lucky to have 3% of the outcome. How many of those world titles and fancy belts and trophies and shit that you guys got, how many of those would you have if you were making an 80% effort at your craft? Would you have 80% of the trophies?
Nope, definitely not. Definitely not. And I mean, it's like you said yesterday. You said there's 168 hours in a week, and you're working 40 hours a week. I mean, so you're working 20% of the time that you're alive every week. And you're not working 8 hours a day. You're working, 3 or 4 hours of those days. Everyone complains, oh, my job's so hard, this and that. It's like people who are successful don't work anything near 40 hours a week. It's always 100 hours a week. It's not that they work, it's that they go home and they think about the next thing. If you're throwing garbage bags in a truck, you don't go home and think, oh, how can I throw the garbage bags better the next day? If you're studying stocks or you're doing jiu-jitsu, you finish your day and then you go home and you're constantly thinking about things that relate to your profession and your success. So that was a big thing that we were talking about yesterday as well.
The person that does go home and think about how to throw the garbage cans more effectively, efficiently, etc., in a couple of years, that person won't have time to throw garbage bags anymore. He'd graduate to some better opportunity.
Yes.
I remember I was 18 years old. I was working at Walmart. I was unloading trucks. This was my last job in life. I was unloading trucks and stocking shelves, third shift in Walmart, fresh out of jail. Got a seasonal job in November, December, not even a permanent job, seasonal job. So a couple month temporary job for around the holidays to help at Walmart, unloading the trucks and stocking the shelves. And I thought to myself, at age 18, I looked around at the other people there. There are many people there that are in their 30s and 40s. There's some people there that are in their 50s. And I thought to myself, what is the commonality? And it was very stark and clear to me, like, everyone here is a up. No one is here because this is their dream job. Yeah. Nobody's here because they want to be here. Everybody here is a up, including myself at that moment. And I thought, well, if I just did the minimum, if I did what those people are doing, some of them have been doing exactly that for 12 years, 13 years. You couldn't figure out how to do better? So I thought, if I can't be the best truck unloader in the history of Walmart, then I suppose I deserve to be there too. And I want you to think about that, and I want you to challenge yourself to think about what place in life is acceptable to you, because that's about where you're going to end up. If you're okay with going home and turning your brain off and not working past the clock hours that your salary or hourly rate pays you for, then you're going to be doing the same shit forever. That garbage guy who doesn't think about what he could do better, what he could do different, he's going to be doing that job in 5 years. He's going to be doing that job in 10 years. He said, oh, my back hurts, this thing, that. Well, no shit, your back hurts, don't. You never thought of a better technique to throw the bag. You never thought of a better strategy that you wouldn't have time to throw the bag anymore because you had too many opportunities to do bigger and better things. So yeah, your back hurts, and you're going to keep doing it for another 15 years. And that's your life. So don't be that person. Like, you're going to end up at about the place that you settle for in life. And those little details, I'll echo what Gordon said. Like, if you're not working 100 hours a week on your goals, somebody else is. Somebody else is working 100 hours a week on very similar goals, and they're going to be outperforming you. If that 100 hours a week sounds like a daunting thing, my brain is active always. My brain is active. Like, when I'm sleeping, I'm still thinking about, quite literally, I toss and turn and I'm thinking about, I'm going to wake up and do this. I don't feel any distress about it. I don't feel a negative emotion, any sort of depression or anxiety or distress of any sort. I'm excited for the opportunity that when I wake up, I got shit to do. And then from the time I wake up, I'm productive all day long. And then go to sleep and sleep a few hours and think about what I'm going to do tomorrow and get up and do it again. Every day of the year. My favorite holiday is leap year. It's not Christmas, it's not my birthday, it's leap year. I get an extra day of productivity that year. So if you don't want to work like that, that's okay. But just realize that you're accepting a lower place in the world than was available to you if you were willing to think more clearly and work harder than the other people. I think the results that you have tell an awful lot of the truth about your intellect and your effort.
And everybody always, the big misconception, everyone always equates, and I hate when people have this argument that everyone always equates the hardest work to physical work. Mm. They say, these guys on Wall Street aren't working nearly as hard as the single mom who has 4 jobs. And it's like, well, the hardest work is always the mental work. That's the work that no one's looking to do. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why guys on Wall Street make more than the guys who are digging a ditch. People are digging ditches because there's no mental work required. And the same thing in jiu-jitsu, everyone's willing to come in and they're willing to get a hard workout, go home and, be sore and feel like they did a good job today. But if you sit down, if you make them sit down for an hour and think about why this arm bar didn't work today, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do the mental work. Everyone's ready to do the physical work, but no one's ready to do the mental work, which is just inherently the harder work. And so when people make this comparison between, this guy's working harder than that guy, well, how hard are they working mentally is what I'm looking for, not how hard they're working physically per se.
There's another thing that comes up is what, Derek, there's more to life than money. There's nothing wrong with making $300,000 a year. Well, I don't know, if you could have had 10 million for not a lot more effort, then there's something fucking wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. If you're doing 80% of the work and accepting 3% of the outcome, probably you could have done better. Probably you could have pushed yourself a little harder to have a cup of coffee or something and engage in a few additional thoughts during the day. And I played a game with myself forever that, say at bedtime, a normal person would go to sleep. A normal person would do 10% of what I do in a day, and then they go to sleep and pretend they did something. But I'd always think, well, what else could I do? And I play a little game with myself, get 2 or 3 more little somethings. Like, what else could I do? And they don't have to be big wins. It's like, all right, I got those couple emails to respond to. Let me knock out those couple emails today, not in the morning. What else could I do right now? Not in the morning, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. And anything you could do today instead of tomorrow, do that today. Do that today instead. And then, another comment about this, money isn't everything, dear. Well, yeah, it is. I had a conversation in an interview, an iHeartRadio interview yesterday we did. Well, yeah, money is everything. And, another thing I should have noted in there when the people that are money isn't everything. Well, water is not everything either. Yeah. Life's not all about money. Yeah, but it is. Life's not all about water either. How much time you want to go without water? Life's not all about oxygen. How much time can you live without breathing? And so yeah, life is about money. Life is about gathering resources, making yourself useful, not being a lazy shitbag that has no utility to yourself or others. Your life is going to be very unpleasant if that's the level of output that you accept of yourself. It's not going to be good. Gilbert and I were talking about construction earlier today, and he has some rental properties. We talked about the level of detail that's very useful, the higher level details that you understand. You're going to pay a lot less to get things done. You're going to pay a fair price. You have to pay a fair price where you're still the best option for that contractor is for them to come and work with you. But you're not going to pay an extortionary price or get ripped off in any way, And then we were walking around a construction project. I asked his opinion about a few things, and he's making a few observations. And then, I think maybe you'd make a comment of like the level of detail that we're talking about to get things done. A little rattle in the board, or anything. I want everything precise and beautiful. What do you see going on down there?
Oh, I see that you pay attention to all the details, all the measurements. I think outlet will be here, not too low. You have exactly the measurement, so you don't have to redo it again. You do it, and then we cut the stone. We gotta redo it. Gotta buy another. So he kind of like avoiding all that trouble. He kind of like crazy. He blew my mind a little bit. Say, wow, all the little details. You will know exactly where the outlet is. You know exactly where the cabinet is coming, the floor, like every little detail. And then I was kind of like, yesterday we went there, and then I'm like, Derek, he loved that thing. Like, oh my. And then today we have a little conversation. Say he kind of, for sure, he don't like it. He don't enjoy it. But that's where he's gonna save a lot of money. Be very with a good precision in everything that he does. So he's gonna avoid losing a lot of money, losing a lot of time, and be more precise and make the money more effective. Like making no mistakes. And there was a good eye-opening for me because I want to get more rentals. I think for sure I want to diversify the money, put a lot on the stock, but the real estate is a big market for me as well too. So, but I never was into like construction and everything. But now I saw how important it is to know, kind of make sure people are not going to screw your money. That you're not gonna, not gonna.
In anything but money, you have to know all the details. You have to know. You have to have at least a level of knowledge that you can't be lied to about something.
Yeah.
You can't be bullshitted about something. So there's no chance on a construction project. It doesn't matter what it is. There's nothing mystical or magical to me about a skyscraper or a house or a shopping mall. There's nothing mystical or magical. I understand how all the pieces work. And if there's some little nuance I don't understand, I could learn that in 30 seconds or 2 minutes and be, okay, I got it, understand that too. So, if we're dealing with materials or labor costs for anything, there's nothing mystical or magical that a guy is going to bullshit me of like, oh, it's because of this thing happened. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It'd be like lying to you guys about jujitsu or something. It's like, it's just obvious this is what it is, This is what it is. If you do this or that different, you'll have a different outcome. If you don't do that, you won't. There's nothing anybody could say to either of you to bullshit you about jujitsu. It's just very obvious where someone's skill set is, or if something would work or not work. You've already thought through all the details for many years at the highest levels. When I go look at a construction project, I just think there's nothing magical about it. I just understand the guy's asking me to write him a check. I don't know this guy. He's a subcontractor for one of my guys. He's asking me to write him a check. I said, show me the receipts. Show me the other receipts. He said, all right, the receipts are in your vehicle. I want to see them tomorrow.
He's in the car.
Yeah, I need to see the vehicle. And the car is a few blocks away, and I don't want to wait. I got to be on the. If I didn't have to be on this call right now, if I wasn't on this call, he'd be walking me those receipts back to me before I write him the check. Because it's, they're over there. Okay, good. When you leave, you're going to go to your vehicle anyway. I tell you what, go to your vehicle and then drive back here and hand the receipts to my assistant, and I'll write you the check tomorrow. I could do that too.
Yeah.
I could do that too. It's not even a final check. It's like, I don't think the guy's bullshitting me. I'm just letting him know, don't even think about bullshitting me. Don't even think that you're going to slip anything extra in there that you're going to take home, or you're going to buy it and hand me the receipt and go return it later and keep the money for yourself. Hell no, you're not. Zero chance. Zero chance that shit happens. So you need to understand the details. In construction, you'll pay 3 times as much. If you don't know this shit, you'll pay 3 times as much. You'll pay 3 times as much as you needed to. People are going to buy extra materials and take them home and use it for their own personal project, or they're going to sell it to somebody else on a different job, or they're going to take it back to the store and return it and get a credit and use that credit on a different job. There's all sorts of mischief that humans engage in, and you don't want to be a victim of any of those things. So you have to understand how the pieces work. You're not going to be good in business. This course is primarily about the stock market, and if you don't understand the details in the stock market, you're not going to make a lot of money there. You might make some money, but you're going to make a pittance of what you could have made, and that's sad. And I don't want you to be sad.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.